What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, then I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah. Yeah, I'm disgusted with myself, and I'm disgusted with the way we're told to have a certain face. I stare and wait because we aren't pixels on a screen. No, we're human, we breathe. Every single thing we see curated, it's overrated. These expectations, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah.
I'm Ray, and I quit smoking with Chantix. I tried to quit smoking for years on my own. I couldn't do it. I needed help. For me, Chantix worked. It did.
Chantix, along with support, helps you quit smoking.
Chantix.
Messing with my head again. You had your heart set on me, but these feels, they come and go, and they come so easily. Tell me what it is about you that I can't forget, but you're breaking down my walls again, just to set me free. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you are when you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you are when you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Staying up when I go out, you gotta know I'm all yours. But when I say what's that about, you start slurring your words. Tell me why you have to seem so distant when I'm holding you. Your fingertips are drifting away, and I fucking love how it hurts. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I baby, why do I baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Sure, but my brain tells me I've been here before. Don't wanna draw any attention to all the crazy things that I shouldn't mention. Not really sure, but it feels like my feet are glued to the floor. Don't wanna open up my mouth, cause I'm afraid of what's gonna come out. Life is but a dream. This can't be happening. Wake up, scream. I'm in a twisted reality. Twisted. I'm seeing visions. I'm not sure who's the one making the decisions. Wake up, scream. I'm in a twisted reality.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Horror Sheet Show for another episode of the Astral Projection and Reiki Tips and Tricks live episode. This will be video 2, where I repeat a lot of the same stuff that I may have said in the first one. So if you caught that, you're going to hear a lot of stuff over, but you're going to hear a little bit more as we go. So stick around. There's going to be a lot of new information, and if people ask questions, definitely going to learn new stuff. And what we're going to talk about, I'll just get to that real quick. Well, first of all, let me say hi to everybody who is joining us in the chat rooms. We've got we're live on, how many different platforms right here? Like 4 or 5 different platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, at least. So Geocentric Creationist into his owl. Yeah, I finally made it. How you doing? Hope you're okay. Donald Putnam is in here. 011's The Plain Truth is in here. Joe Mama says, yo, boys. Randy Mullally, hey, Hori, what's up, bro? How's it going, Randy? Hope you're well. All right, yeah, and Plain Truth, The Plain Truth won it for the first there in the chat, way at the top. So, okay, who's in the Facebook? We got a couple people here in Facebook. Saw a few of my friends joined in. Marcus Ocampo's in there. How you doing, Marcus? All right, guys. So what I'm going to talk about, first of all, we're going to talk about a brief introduction to what astral projection is, just kind of tell you what it is for people who don't know. Then we're going to talk about what can you do with it, and I'm going to base that on things I've done with it, not stuff that I read about and I hope to be true. None of this is stuff that I've read about. In fact, I hate reading. I just hate it. It puts me to sleep. So I read almost nothing on how to do any of this. I just kind of, played it by ear, and it worked. Yeah, and I proved it several times to several people as well. So the next thing I'm going to talk about was what can you do with Reiki? And also, well, I already said, yeah, I'm going to talk about what it is, but what can you do with Reiki? How can you, you can heal people. You can pull out pains. You can pull out joint pains. You can pull out headaches, nausea. Sometimes it's temporary. Sometimes it's permanent. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it works 100%. Sometimes only 80%. Sometimes only 20%. It's all different. But I would say the amount of times it works or has an effect at all versus the amount of times it doesn't, it's like 65, 70% of people, they feel it. It works. Something happened. There's only about 25 or 30% that really don't feel anything, or something's broken in them or whatever. I don't know. Mackenzie, hey, how's it going? And Freemason's Cryptoverse. What's up, buddy? All right, the next thing I'll talk about after that is I'll do some questions and call-ins. I'll do that all throughout the show. So feel free, to let me know in the chat by typing The Hori Sheet Show, my name, and tell me you want to call in, and I'll reach a stopping point, and I'll give you the cue. Go ahead and call in. So and then story time. After all that, or some point, I'm just going to start telling stories about what I did, or maybe that's going to happen in the middle. Who knows? It's just, if I missed anything and it falls out of place, I'm going to tell a little bit more about astral projection or Reiki based on stuff that I've done. So that's what story time is. All right. Working and watching your show. Cool. Where are you working right now? Where are you working, Freeman? Okay. Let's get started. So what is astral projection? Well, my name is Robert, calling from Pennsylvania, and I want to call in. All right, let's do a call in first. Alfan Network. Let's do that. Let me go ahead and get the microphone. I mean the headphones plugged in. Hold on. All right. Go ahead and you can ring the phone now. 504-264-3609. Go ahead and do a quick call first. Robert. I should have some waiting for a call music. Do I have that? I might have a waiting for a call music. Let's play the waiting for a call music while we wait for Robert's phone call from Pennsylvania. No, I would not like to update Adobe Air. I just want to play sounds. Okay, go Hori's call-in music. That's better. All right. I don't know. I'm not getting the call. I'm gonna have to start the show soon. Hey guys, I know I'm an ass. It's okay. Just bear with me. Any flat smacks to show today? Yeah, well, you got to check out the Flat Smackers live channel, and I think it was video 8 or video 9. Just look in the show notes and look for the one that I got boob smacked in. I got flashed in the Tesla. It was hilarious. Absolutely. And yeah, I don't even want to say this on my show because it's, I don't know, I've always been a little bit more PG-13, I guess. But go read the show notes on Flat Smackers Live for the last 2 shows. One of them is crazy. All right, so here we go. I'm starting off. Robert, I hope you can call in like 2 seconds ago. Brief introduction. What is astral projection? Okay, guys. Oh, Jesus. Now he says he's calling in now. Oh, my God. Well, let's see if the phone rings. If it rings, then, we'll go ahead and take it. All right, so what is astral projection? Astral projection is simply leaving your body. I'm sure you all know that. It's a way to put your mind, you put your body asleep and you keep your mind awake. That's the basic principle of how to leave your body. So all this is like an elaborate trick that you're trying to pull on your own self. And what it involves is, this is what the guy told me. He says, lay down. It's an old friend of mine in the past. He said, lay down on your back. He says, breathe in, breathe out, count 1. And relax every time you do that. And then you breathe in again, breathe out, count 2. And you just repeat. Breathe in, breathe out, count 3. Just keep going. What's going to happen here is as you're counting, probably going to get bored or you're going to get really relaxed because every time you exhale, you have to relax more and more too. That's really part of this. So that's going to put your body asleep, the relaxing exhales and slow breathing. And there we go. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm getting like buku calls and then they all disappeared. Try it one more time. Unknown caller. I don't know what's going on. The whole point of this is to put your body to sleep, and with the relaxing part of this, meditation or exercise, and keeping your mind awake by counting all your breaths. So that you're really trying to do this trick, right? All right, let's see if we get this. Hi, you're on the air with the Hori Sheet Show.
Oh, hello, this is Robert from Pennsylvania.
Oh, how are you doing?
Good. I would just like to tell you, you are doing great at your show, and I would just like to say keep up the good work.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Did you have a question about any of the topics at hand?
Huh?
Did you have any questions about any of the topics, the Reiki or out-of-body stuff?
I would just like to give you like a heads up to say you're doing great, and you need to keep up the good work because you're doing great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Take this call. Bye.
Sure, bye. That's cool. That's nice. I don't get that much, so it's a good motivator. That was sweet. I guess I did have it kind of low. But she just called in to say thanks, really. Thanks for what I was doing. And I appreciate that. Next time, I will not have my caller so muted. So thanks for that, chat room. Keep me in balance here. Yeah, you heard her? Yeah, she was sweet. That was cool. All right, so got me off track. All right. Oh, we'll try this again.
She was sweet. That was cool.
Hey, you're on the show with the Hori Sheet Show. Who's this? All right, so we're going to take a break from the calls real quick, and I'll close out the Witchamadoodle and turn off the phone so I can just get a steady show going. I'll open the calls up a little bit later. The phone is somewhere else, so I'm not even going to worry about it. So back to it. The trick to this, you're trying to put your body asleep with the relaxing stuff, and you're trying to count your breaths to keep your mind awake. So now we're back on track here. And when you do this, you're going to have a whole bunch of weird sensations happen to you. You're going to have all kinds of stuff you could experience or not, but the list runs pretty wild and gets pretty crazy. You could hear voices in your head, people yelling in one ear to somebody else through your head to the other. It's like two people yelling in your ear. You can hear wind noises, like you can hear buzzing noises, a straight up like you can hear stuff like that. You hear like a ringing sound get louder. That normal ringing sound will sometimes enhance. All these things. And instead of yelling, you could hear whispers. It gets kind of creepy sometimes. Popping noises, zapping, popping noises. So all these things you're doing this exercise, and then all of a sudden you start feeling these weird sensations or hearing these weird noises while you're doing the exercise, and that's triggers for you. Once you can start recognizing these little things that when they happen, and you're not freaked out about them anymore, if you do get scared, don't. You can actually just mute the page. Is there something going on with the sound? Let me know if there's something wrong with the sound. But anyway, all right, back to things. so you're putting your body asleep, keeping your mind awake, hearing all these crazy noises, and you're trying to get to the point where you feel either, for me, it's vibrations. You'll actually have like a sound and a feeling accompanying it that is like, and it's vibrating. It's like really, it's like somebody stuck a vibrator and jammed it into your bone and turned it on. It could be that like crazy, or it could be much more subtle. There's different ranging degrees, but again, it's all about noticing these little things and maybe making a mental note, or later on writing them all down so you don't forget if you're really forgetful. But the further along you go into putting your body asleep, the more things that may happen, and then some are very significant. Like the vibrations are the last part, but right before the vibrations, you'll have like floaty limbs. Maybe you'll feel like your feet are not floaty but numb. That's what I meant to say. You might not remember. You might not remember like where your feet are positioned, or even if you have your legs crossed. At some point of this meditation, when you feel like that, you can sort of trick yourself and really forget how you're laying. But that's also just something to take note of. If you just can't feel your body anymore, you're doing pretty good. But here's the thing. As you're counting your breaths, you might get to, I don't know, some people get real high. They get up to like 50s and 60s. I have no idea how people do that. So if you get past like 50, maybe this isn't your technique. But if you're like losing count or getting bored and randomly daydreaming by like number 12, then yeah, keep at this one, because that's what happens to me. I can't get past like 15 before I start daydreaming. And this is an important thing to know. If you start daydreaming while you're counting, and you start like for me, you know, the green Christmas tree lights, electrical green wire, and then there's bulbs, the little red bulb, and then the blue bulb and the orange bulb, whatever the Christmas bulbs are, those old-fashioned ones, big ones. Anyway, I was counting my breaths, doing this exercise, and I was on number 8, number 9, and as I counted to number 9, I saw a little Christmas light pop up on the string, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then my 10th breath, I was still imagining these Christmas lights. So now every time I counted, I got another Christmas light that I was thinking about. And that was cool. I was just doing this. But if you do that, it's going to suck you into a dream. That is the same kind of stuff that happens when you're not doing any sort of exercise. So imagine you're laying down in your bed, you're closing your eyes, you're just trying to go to sleep. What are you doing? What is your brain really doing? It's sitting there trying to think about random stuff. Most of the time, that's what it's doing. Oh, what do I got to do tomorrow? Or, oh man, that was such a cool day today. Or, oh, did I take a bath? Shit, did I leave the stove on? You know, like whatever your brain is chattering about on normal sleep time. Well, during this exercise, your body's trying to put you to sleep, and your brain is trying to bombard you with the same sort of, I don't know, randomness, and you'll forget your count. You'll forget your exercise. You'll get whisked into a dream, and that's it. So this exercise is really an exercise in staying present, staying awake, and tricking your body, like I said earlier. So yeah, that was some really good stuff to soak in. Did anybody have any questions? Was that too much, too fast, or did it get off track? Well, you have a way of not what? What's happening in the chat room? Jesus! Oh my God, chat. Okay. What's going on here? Hori, I'm next. Get me out of the way and you'll be free, not me. We have to talk, Broseph. It's all good. Your sound is good. Okay. No way. Like, I haven't been trying to call you. What? You're AO smart. Thank you for help. Why you have a way of not acknowledging a way to answer somebody perfect? What? Me? Oh, Adam's like, no, not you. Jesus, I don't know what you guys are talking about. But anyway, yeah. Let me drink this beer. Hold on. Collect my thoughts. Yeah, it goes along well. Let me drink this beer and collect my thoughts. So, yeah, that's astral projection. That's how to do it. Lay down, count your breaths, relax your body with every exhale. You will eventually put it to sleep. You'll eventually get to the point where, this is important too. Once you start forgetting your numbers, like maybe you're not getting any visuals, but you just like lose count, or you're just getting really foggy, that's something to take note of. That is your body about to go to sleep on you, and you're just going to fall asleep. You're going to get whisked into some dream, whisked away into some dream. So here's what you do. If you forget your count, if you forget what number you're on, you start back at 1. And let's say you got to 30 the first time. And then the second time you got to like 20, 21, 22. And then the third time, maybe you can only get to like 15 or 12. And then, this is also significant. This is telling you how close you are to falling asleep. You're getting real close. This exercise does not have to last very long. And it doesn't have to be something you do every single time. This is just one of the things that worked for me. This is the thing that worked for me the very first time I ever, well, I did it for 7 days. Okay. So this worked within 7 days, but this was the first thing that worked. The only thing that I could probably do in my bed that works to really help prime me for an experience is to do this exercise. And once I'm really having a lot of trouble remembering my numbers and stuff, and when you get to that point too, you start doing a technique. So let me explain what now, if you thought this whole thing was a damn technique, well, put on your jock straps, because no, we're getting ready to hit the meat and bones of astral projection. So let's say you're forgetting your count, you know you're at your limit, you're about to fall asleep, you've done this enough times, you've maybe fallen asleep a dozen times trying this in the past week. So now you're pretty familiar and you know you're about to fall asleep. Now you do your technique. Now there's thousands of different techniques, but they all seem to have one thing in common most of the time, like 90% of them. And that is, a technique is trying to push your astral body, your astral energy that's still locked in your body's physical frame. You're trying to push that out. You're trying to either take control of it and move it out, or you're trying to sort of, again, trick it and make a sort of subconscious event happen. Like, I call it astral slipping a lot of times. I call it astral pressure. This is sort of the same phenomena, but if you're at the right point and you're right about to fall asleep, you could do a technique such as the rope climbing technique. Okay, so imagine I had a piece of string hanging from my ceiling down to my nose, and I was imagining when it was time for me to start my technique that I would climb this rope, and I'm just putting my hands up and I'm climbing this rope as high as I can go. Maybe I hit the ceiling, so I'll start over again. I'll imagine my hands coming up from the bed where they are, and I'll try to climb that rope again and try to really, really create that feeling of rising up and that feeling of gaining some momentum or gaining elevation rather. And that's, again, you're trying to trick your brain. You're trying to go into this visual when normally your brain is already trying to, take your mind off of stuff with the Christmas tree lights, or maybe you're thinking of girls or guys or whatever you're into, games and cars and fishing, and anything you're into might start popping up at this point. Or at normal sleep time, all those things that would pop up, those are going to whisk you into dreams. But what you're trying to do is whisk you into this dream with the rope, right? Because you're doing this consciously and you're doing it at the right time. Your body has been wanting to fall asleep at this point, hopefully. It's very relaxed, hopefully. So when you do the exercise, you may start feeling these sensations. You may feel the rope in your hand, which actually you have to try to recreate every bit of it. Try to feel all the fibers of the rope. Try to feel the grip. Try to feel you rising up. Like, you got to really try to push this creativity in your brain, really visualize it. And it gets easier to do this as you get closer to sleep. So, and it gets very, very realistic. Now, as soon as you start, what's supposed to happen is you'll be, all of a sudden, you can't feel your body anymore. You're like totally in the visual. You'll realize, wow, I'm really here. It's that sort of thing. Now, I haven't had that one really work for me, but it has worked for so many people. And so I explain it. Here's one that works. That worked for me several times. I was in my bed and I was doing, like I said, the breathing counting exercise that I explained. And I would imagine that my bed was sort of rocking chair or something. Like, I was laying on a long rocking chair, basically. And I was trying to feel like I was ever so slightly moving left to right, ever so slightly. And if you have a rocking chair at home, just go sit in the rocking chair and relax. And close your eyes and just go limp, and then try to feel like maybe you're going forward and backwards. Like, you can almost recreate it from a waking state. You can really feel like, and you can fool yourself into thinking, oh, maybe I am. Or just sit there and try to imagine that the earth is rotating slowly and try to feel for the earth rotating backwards. Sorry, inside joke. But I don't know. I don't think a whole lot of people here really think the earth rotates, but I don't know. I could be wrong. But so if you can recreate this left to right feeling at the right time, just by visualizing anything you got to visualize. Maybe visualize your bed is rocking, or I didn't even try to visualize the rocking of any bed or object that I was on. I just tried to feel it. Just trying to feel it. And then if it starts to feel like it's happening, you start to go a little more to the left and a little more to the right. And you just go with that, man. You just go with that. If it feels like it's getting stronger, you just go with it. That's the whole point of this. And eventually you'll flop right out of your bed. And once you flop away from your physical body, you're going to get vision. That's what happens to me. And it'll hit you like, whoa, you'll feel it all too. I mean, you're going to think that you're really falling out the bed. And it might actually wake you up. You might stop the whole experience and open your eyes to be like, oh shit. And realize, no, you didn't move at all. And you haven't been rocking back and forth the whole time. So that was, that's a really cool one. When it works, you'll flop off to the side of your bed and you won't fall to the floor. You'll just remain like floating and gliding off the side of your bed. And the first thing you usually see is you laying there on the bed as you're floating away. And the funny part is that it's hard to take control of it sometimes, or let's say a lot of times, for whatever reason. I don't know. But I've been whisked into a tiny tornado. I've used that word a lot on my show today, whisked. Sucked into a tiny tornado in my room that I couldn't see. I would get out of my body and float and be like, oh, cool, I'm out. And then all of a sudden I'm going in like a twister. I'm like, shit, I can't control this experience. But it's cool. I get to look around, but I can't actually move. I have several of those, and people talk about this. It's a common thing too. So anyway, those are two ways to do it. Those are two techniques. I've even had it. Here's a fun technique. Somebody told me this, and I was like, "Oh man, if I can do this, I'm a gamer. This should work." But before I tell you about the gaming astral projection technique, I'm gonna read the chat and say hi to everybody real quick. Scroll up, see if anybody has said anything here. I don't know what the Discord conversation's all about. Hey, K Superjack, what's going on? Had a great first day, my new job. Yeah, man. Awesome. I'm so glad that you were saying you just started the job. I thought it was Monday. I don't even know today, actually. Is today Monday? Today's Monday. All right. Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that you got that it worked out for you. So big applause. Thank you. K Superjack's new job. All right. Yeah, go ahead and email GMCDXX. AutoCAD, bro. Yeah. Ooh, that's cush too, huh? That's it sounds like an air-conditioned job. That's nice. Good stuff, man. All right, so I've explained those two techniques. See if there's the video game technique. Okay. Well, forgot Facebook. I got to give my Facebook fam some love. We got a couple people in there. Let me go to the bottom. Jeanette Walker just joined. Hey, Wayne Wilson. You feel a jolt. Yeah, a lot of times when you do this exercise, something fun to do while you're doing the exercise, and maybe to test whether or not you're ready for a technique. Here's a good way to test it. Start visualizing that all of a sudden you're at a baseball game and you're standing on the plate and you're about to swing the bat at the baseball that's coming. So a pitch is coming, you're waiting for it, here it comes. As soon as you go to swing the bat like a reflex, your body's going to jolt. If you are close enough to the body asleep, mind awake border that you need to be in. And in fact, I can go as far as say, if you don't get the jolts, or let's give you another scenario to play in your mind. You're walking across the street, you look one way, you look the other way, there's no cars. And as soon as you step on the road and look the other way, there's a car all of a sudden and it's about to hit you. If you visualize that, you're going to jump. Your body's going to go, and that's a test. It's a test to let you know how far away into trance land you are. So yeah, good. Thanks for saying that, Wayne. That helped jog my memory on that. Yeah, thanks, Hori. Gonna try, says Catshaw. Cool. Graham Coven, how you doing, man? Brentley Peavy, hey, buddy. All right, so let's get back to it. The video game technique. This one was fun. I'm gonna take a sip of beer. This was really, I like this one because it's a story that follows it, and it's one of my favorite stories. So I was told, lay on my bed, do the breathing exercise, and the technique this time was to start imagining my favorite video game from start to finish as much as I could. That's all I had to do. And I was like, okay. I didn't know how that was going to work. Okay, Adam, I'll do a call in, probably in just a little while. Just like maybe 15 minutes or so. So I was imagining myself playing a video game. It was called Secret of Mana. and the first thing you do is you fall off this big log at a waterfall, and you find this sword, and you start cutting your way through the grass, and you get kicked out of a village, and when you get kicked out of the village, you have to travel to another village. It was a hell of a long story short, but I don't want to bore you with all that. So I'm imagining my video game character doing all that stuff, and I knew this game like I know it like the back of my hand, so easy peasy for me. And so that one part of the game, I know very early on, you have to travel to another city, and one of the ways you do that in this game is by cannon travel. Believe it or not, your character just gets in a cannon and just shoots off. No parachute, nothing. He just shoots way the hell into the air and smash lands, and it's no problem, no broken bones, he's fine. I don't know, now that I'm thinking about that, I'm like, why? Why didn't they just give him parachutes? But anyway, it was at that point when the character got shot out of the cannon and started flipping in the air. So now in the game, you see the land getting, like you're really flying up. So the land gets real small, and it's moving across the world. And then he's like, where he's landing, the world gets like up in your face. When the character the whole time is spinning in the air. It's real cheap, Super Nintendo graphics, right? But as my guy was flipping, I started feeling like I was doing a tumble set. I felt like I was flipping. I was getting dizzy. I was getting that vertigo feeling. And I was like, oh, what? So I just kept with that. I just kept with that disassociating feeling, like whatever you'd call it. And it didn't take long at all before I sat straight up in my bed. Sat like a sit-up, boom, instantly, and I got vision through my eyelids. I could not believe that just happened. So I walked out of my body, I looked at my body on the bed, looked around my room, and I was still caught up on, wow, that technique worked. I wasn't even enjoying the out-of-body experience per se. I just couldn't, because I'm like, I gotta try that one more time. So that's what I did. Went back into my body. I literally woke myself up out of that experience willingly, and with the sole intent of not moving anything and just thinking about the guy going into the cannon, shooting out and flipping just to see if I'd get the dizziness. And believe it or not, bam, right away. Got it again. Sat straight up out of my body, like almost did a front flip into my dresser in front of me. It was weird. So I stood up, and I was like, okay, and here's the story part about it. So I know that technique works. That's why I share it. And you're not going to find that in any book. No, just not. So I was like, yeah, what am I going to do with this experience? What do I want to do? I was really, conscious, really aware. I was like, oh, I've always wanted to walk through a wall. Yeah, that sounds badass. So I went to, my dad's wall that was in front of me, and I pushed on it, and it was solid. I mean, it felt solid as hell. So I was like, okay, well, I know I'm out of body because I see myself on the bed, so I'm just going to run at this wall as hard as I can. So here it goes, running at the wall. Bam! I go straight through the wall. And let me tell you what that feels like. You ever had one of those big old school monitors, the big boxy school monitors before they had flat screens? When you turn them on, they go bzz, and then you put your hand on them, and it's like static, and you go shock somebody else in the other side of the room with that. I used to do that. I was a bastard. But that is what it felt like, a whole bunch of static electricity, static charge. And did somebody kick K Superjack? I don't know. I'll deal with that, but there you go. It shouldn't be kicked on that account. So anyway, let me get you on K Superjack should work too. I don't know. I added your mod on both K Superjack. Sorry, I'm slow. I don't think about that sometimes. So anyway, yeah, like I pushed my way through the wall, slammed into it. Now I'm on the other side of my dad's wall in his room, and I'm seeing him watching TV. And the strange thing about this is he had a high bed, big old king-size bed. It was high off the ground, and we had a ceiling-mounted TV. And so you could sleep at the head of your bed and watch TV on the ceiling. And I don't know, for whatever reason, that's what they did. But this time, he wasn't laying in his normal spot. He was sitting at the very foot of his bed. And he had his legs dangling over, and he was looking way up, cranking his neck up, looking at the TV. What the hell is he doing? I'm like, this isn't normal. And the first thing I thought was, if you reach the point, because this is a good chunk of information too for anybody trying this. If you reach a point where you're in an out of body experience, or you're out of body, I should say, and stuff just doesn't look weird, it doesn't match up, and you know it, and you catch it, like an Alice in Wonderland effect is what they call it, or like a bad acid trip all of a sudden is happening. You should wake yourself up, because unless you do an exercise to really, really keep yourself there and remain like awake and not get sucked off into dreamland, because that's it. You're still like going to have to resist these, I don't know, pulls into the astral realm is what I call it, but you can remain in the physical realm. So in this experience, I didn't know what was happening. I thought maybe when I went through the wall, I was going into a dreamland and things were going to get weirder and weirder and weirder. And then that's what happens. You forget your experience. You just won't remember it. You'll wake up the next day and just completely forgetting that experience. So anyway, I knew that, okay, well, I should wake myself up at this point. So I went back into my body. And that's all I knew, that I saw my dad watching TV at the foot of his bed and never seen him do that. So the next day I talked about it, told him. He goes, he was just freaked out. And he hated this astral projection stuff. He did not like the guy that I was talking to from another state. He was not happy about all that. And I was like, well, did I get it right? Were you sitting at the foot of your bed watching TV? And he was like, yeah, I was. And I had my door closed. You didn't open my door the whole night. And I was like, no, I didn't. I went through the wall, like I said. And he was like, I can't believe that. And I had the pillows behind me, propping myself up. And that's when it hit me. That's when it hit me. I didn't tell him about the pillows. I didn't remember the pillows until he just said it. Like, and then bam, I remembered, like, I saw them. His striped white and blue pillows were all propping him up. That's how he was able to relax. And I was like, yeah, the pillows. So that was further confirmation for me. That was, double confirmation. And that's how it goes. That's what I think people need to really feel like it's real, because a lot of those experiences, I was trying to prove it to myself for years. I didn't even want to talk about it. But once I started really doing stuff like that and freaking people out, I started talking about it, and I didn't give a shit who I said it to or what they thought of me, because that's just one experience of like 4 that I could talk about, and I'll probably get to the other ones later. But okay, Adam, I'll do a quick call in real quick. Let me open up the lines. You know the number. Go ahead and call it. Adam Geringer. If it's anybody but Adam right now, you are rude, sir. Oh, goodness. While I wait for that, never mind. Here we go. You're on the show with the Hoary Sheet. What's going on? Oh. Oh. Really? I'm here. Okay. I'm just laughing like, oh God, who's summoning Satan? Where's this directed to? Oh. Okay, I'm listening. I, I don't know. I have no clue how to summon Satan. I'm sorry. Oh God. All right. Well, I am glad that me and you had a conversation for like 2 minutes. But if you want everyone else to know what we're talking about, they can now hear you. I had the damn thing muted again.
Oh my God, dude!
Look,
Why
look,
did you do that?
oh my God, I know, right? Blame it on the beer. Blame it on the beer. You want to give it?
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes, I know. I'm
Just give us a
all
rundown
right,
again.
Okay, I'll sum it up. All right, for everybody that was not listening, okay, Satan does not exist. Satan is just a title. The Christ is just a title. And take it from me, because literally in my younger ages, I'm only 26 now, so I was probably 17 when I tried to do this, and that is to summon Satan yourself. Can you even get the motherfucker to talk to you, is what I'm saying. What does it fucking take to get this asshole, the ruler of the fucking demon world, and like all of your beliefs and everything, what does it take to freaking summon him to get his goddamn attention, right? What does that freaking take, people? All right. So for me, what I tried to do was blend reality with the dream world in a mantra state. Okay. And that took 4 hits of acid and 3 really decent sized shrooms that can literally fit in the palm of your hand. You take all of those and you spill a little bit of blood on the Ouija board that you don't buy from a store, because come on, man, are you going to buy a fucking Ouija board from Walmart, then talk to demons? Get the fuck over yourself. You make the shit yourself. Yeah, make it yourself. Write it out in your own fucking blood, A through Z, hello, goodbye, and then you get something that you can freaking make contact with demons with. I don't fucking know, but use your fucking hands. And you will do this for literally what I did, because I had a whole weekend. I had 2.5 days to summon a fucking demon into my body as a fucking vessel, and it never fucking happened.
But
Get
Adam,
the fuck over it.
why?
Get over it.
Why?
Why? Because, man, that's the thing. Once you're alive, you have to test these things whether it's real or not. I can't get in contact with Jesus. That motherfucker never answers. You know what I'm saying? He never does. And he never will, because he doesn't exist. And the thing is I'm like, well, so fuck Jesus. I'm going to get in contact with the devil. So what does that freaking take? So I went through all the bullshit, doing all the freaking, I guess, like substantial stuff that would require, you know, summon a demon and everything. But it never happened. Never. What does it fucking take? I'm not going to sacrifice a fucking baby. I mean, like, I already told Corey that
Maybe
I had a pet lizard that I had a pet lizard that I tried to like fucking put a demon in the body of my fucking pet lizard so that way it could talk to me. And it never happened.
You know,
never ever happened.
I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about all that, really.
Because that's scientific experimentation.
But let me tell you this. Well, hold on. So before it gets too far, this was a completely sober experience that I had. All of my astral projections so far have been completely sober experiences. And in fact, if I did any even just marijuana, there's no way I don't think I can remember an astral projection if I was stoned. I think that's the time when it's all stopped for me when I was younger. So with that being said, my first ever out of body experience, and from the technique I told everybody to do, this is what happened, okay?
Go ahead, man.
I go out of body from the breathing exercise because at some point I got so pissed off after 7 days of it not working. On the 7th night, I literally, I think it was like a prayer. I was reaching out to like God or the guides or something more than myself. Because in my head, this is what I said. I'm like, look, if this shit is real and I'm supposed to do this for any reason, it better happen tonight or I'm never doing this again. And when I was like mad. I was mad because I felt like I was about to fall asleep, just like all the other nights. I had reached that point where I was like, I'm getting really sleepy and it's not working anymore. It's not working. And I'm like, God damn it, I'm getting mad now. So I said that in my head. And guess what? All of a sudden, I got a jolt of vibrations. And the next thing I know, my eyes were open, but they weren't where my head was. They were where my chest was. So it was like I was seeing through my nipples. And I was looking at my feet, what was above my feet, rather. And it was this huge, and I don't mean to scare anybody, okay? Listen, hold on. This thing that I saw was about the size of a freaking beach ball. And, I mean, it was like this big. And it was hovering over me. It was a silverish black orb. It had. I don't know if you've ever seen a light shining black before. But it had a lot of silver and black was like a silver black smoky light spiky ball. Okay, it wasn't
Yes,
pretty.
Corey.
It wasn't frickin' pretty. Whatever the hell it
You
was.
could feel it wasn't pretty.
It definitely didn't feel pretty, but this is what it was doing to me, and it was sucking me into the frickin' thing. It was like all my bones, my fingers, my elbows, my kneecaps, my back, my spine, any bone you would have that would bend this way. Well, imagine it bending its opposite way, and it didn't hurt, but it just felt not cool. And my whole body was feeling that as I was being drawn closer to this frickin' ball. Now I couldn't move, I couldn't speak, I couldn't hear myself try to speak. I couldn't do anything. Every time I moved, I would just get like vibraty. And then I freaked out, like freaking full mode panic mode right now. And then bam, I wake back up. My whole body is in sweats. I got tingles all over my body. My whole body is like tingle, pins and needles, you know. But instead of going, oh my God, I'm never doing that again, Hori's candy ass was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do that shit again. And from that night on, tell you, nothing else like that really happened.
I got to tell you, Hori, everything that you're saying is true, because the dark orbs and stuff that you're seeing, anybody that has done drugs in their life or anything, and anybody that doesn't do drugs, I think it would be harder for them to even relate to what me and you are saying right now. But just to give you a little side thing as far as like what you just explained. All right, so like I did meth for like 2.5 days, right? And I was awake for 2.5 days. And you know what that does, because that starts blending your daytime. Yes, sir. Yes, it does.
I've not done meth before, but I know what staying awake for 2 days or 3 days is like, and what you can experience. It's like a drug, just itself.
That's correct. And I only really did it for those 2.5 days, because after that, all I really wanted to do was go to sleep. But before that, I saw the things that I was fighting when I was younger. And this all happened in the dream state, just like what you're talking about. All right. So like there was this mother of a friend that I had, and she told me about this being that had giant yellow eyes that sat at the foot of her bed that would look at her every night. And so I got pissed off. And in my dream state, I went and found this motherfucker, and he was doing the same freaking thing. And so when I found him, all I did was put this gold orb around him, and I crushed him, like just like that, in like a snap. And then in my dream world, I left the house that I was staying over at my friend's house, and then I was walking around over this pond. And over this pond, I saw like these different shaped beings, like they had like freaking like cube bodies and other shit like that. But then there was like sperm creatures, like the one that was in the house and everything, because their tail was like a sperm. And then like life went into like this row of columns, and like in that row of columns, and that's when I like kind of went Dragon Ball Z on their ass. But this is all freaking dreams. So we have no way of relating that to anybody that like has any idea about it at all, because it all happened in the dream state. To me and you, that existed in another realm at another time, in somewhere in reality, but that has nothing to do with like what we're doing right now. And that's the reason why I wanted to talk to everybody about this whole fucking Satanism thing. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell you, is like when you try to summon, try to summon the motherfucker,
that's basically,
he's never there.
That's basically your point, really. That's cool. I don't want to stick on it too long, because I do want to get back to the show and everything, but anything you want to tie it up with, Adam?
I want to tie it up with this. Jesus Christ didn't die for you. The next time that you eat something, think of the animal that died for you. It gave its whole body and itself for you. Jesus Christ never died for your sins. He didn't die for fucking anything. He never even fucking existed. So the next time that you pray at the fucking table, don't say amen. Don't pray at all. Why don't you close your hands together and think about the animal and all the torture that it went through, so that way it could look like your fucking cheeseburger on the fucking dining room table. And
true.
Other than that, Jesus Christ was never there for me. And guess who else was never there for me?
Satan.
Fucking Satan.
All right.
Both of them. Never fucking there. But anyways, man, you know I love you. That's all I wanted to talk about. Peace, bro.
Thanks for the call, Adam. Have a good one, bro. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yep. Adam, always an interesting call. So, all right, guys. Anybody in the chat want to say anything here about that? I'll go ahead and read it. Now, I just want to say I do not necessarily agree or disagree with the caller or anybody that calls. I mean, if I have no idea. I've been doing a lot of connecting to God, connecting to Source, and in my experiences, it has been it has been interesting. I would love to share that, but it's just not the time. It has been interesting though, and I'm not sure which direction I would like to go with that. All right, there is a light OBE and dark OBE. I definitely love the light. Oh yeah. Now here's one thing interesting. I do believe people are like messed with by whatever the hell entities are on the other side, able to latch into us or try to suck on us or whatever the hell they do. Because I had some people that called me, or I mean, a friend of mine called me over the phone, and then a girlfriend of mine, long distance girlfriend for like 2 years, she called me for the same reason, and that reason being they were both highly energy sensitive people, very, very, very sensitive, energetic people. When I would do Reiki or anything on them, they would feel it like super strong. So they also had these beings that would mess with them and whisper in their ear, and they were like beacons of light for these aggravating little things. And so they call me and they're like, can you do anything about this stuff? And I'm like, I have no clue what to do, but I have some ideas. I can try something, but I've never heard of this being a thing, or, you know, I don't know if it's going to work. And they were like everybody I tried stuff on with energy and Reiki, they were like, oh, I don't care, just do it. Right. So what I did was I imagined where my friend was. I imagined filling them up with white light, God's source energy, pure love, righteousness, justice, pure love, all these positive, strong emotions and feelings, but mostly pure love, unconditional, pure love. And I filled them up with that, and it was like I imagined it being a white light, and then I've expanded their aura, and then I put spikes in it, spikes of love, like a porcupine of love. And I had no idea what that would do, but it fixed their problem every time for like a few days. I mean, I could get deeper with it, and we could talk about energy constructs and things that there's a lot of people that believe you can do a lot more stuff than just heal people. You can make an energy ball alarm clock, stick it around you, and as long as you're half conscious of that, it'll, you know, you can really freak yourself out, I guess, waking yourself up at the perfect time and testing it. I mean, these are things people do. I don't know. I'm just saying these things I've read. But yeah, the possibilities may be, you know, pretty interesting when you start doing stuff for yourself. So that's one thing I would do. I did for my friend Amy and my friend Aurora, and that it worked. It stopped the people whispering in their ears. It stopped them turning off light switches or, you know, things like that for like days. They were like, they were calling me almost regularly to keep doing it. I don't know what the hell that, you know, I don't know. I'm just telling people what I've done, and I don't like to tell people that because it's kind of like it just sounds weird. It makes me sound weird. I mean, you can hear my voice. I don't like to talk about that, but you know, when it happens twice, or at least twice already, I don't know. What if it happens a third time? Should I be weird about saying that it happened a third and fourth time? So anyway, moving on, we're going to talk about Reiki a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit more about this energy stuff. I think we explained the how-tos of the out-of-body stuff, and believe me, there's still more things to talk about on that, more techniques we could talk about, discuss, but let's move into how I discovered Reiki, how I discovered this energy stuff. And like I said, I filled them up with white energy. How the hell would I do that, right? So this is going to get into how that happens, how you do that stuff. Let me do a beer check. We're running kind of low. I have to grab a second one. But so I was in chemistry class, 7:30 in the morning. Hated school. 7:30 in the morning. Hated school. I get there. Now this came with a bit of sleep deprivation and all this, which is probably why this technique worked so easily. But I'm in my desk and I'm sleeping like this. This is how I tried to sleep at my desk, sitting up, because I didn't want to sleep like that. I'd get kicked out of class. So I had to sit up. So I'd sleep like this. I'd have a hoodie on and everything, so she couldn't tell if I was watching or reading a book or if I had my eyes open or not. The teacher didn't care. She couldn't see me, my eyes. So this is how I was able to fall asleep and actually try to go out of body every chance I got in school. I would try to sleep through every class I couldn't like pass myself or whatever, So here's me, and all of a sudden I'm in this paralysis state. Once my body, because after being on the school bus and falling asleep on the school bus and then waking up and keeping myself drowsy and zombie walking to the desk, and I'm so tired still because I maybe slept only 2 hours because I was playing games all night. So now I'm in my desk. My body is totally ready to go back to sleep. Holy crap. But my brain is listening to all my friends come in and talk about the latest gossip, and the teacher come in and start lecturing, and I had all these things I could focus on and keep my mind awake. My body was definitely tired. So that's it. That's the magic. That's putting your body asleep, keeping your mind active, keeping your mind awake. So now I'm in paralysis. My body fell asleep. I got some tingles in the back of my neck, and I was familiar with what this was. But I thought about in this moment, what are these tingles really? What can I do with the tingles? I didn't know anything about energy stuff. I just knew that the tingles were common, and I knew I was in paralysis. So I knew that if I moved something, tried to physically move, I would vibrate. Like if it was my hand that I tried to move away, it would be like, so, you know, and I would have to work through that to leave my body. Once I got to that state and everything vibrated when I simply moved it, I would just go with it. I'd be like, and then you'd float out. You just like a magnet. You don't have that attraction anymore. You're not vibrating anymore. And you can turn around and look at your body. But I didn't want to do that this time. I wanted to know what the vibrations were. You know, I wanted to know what the tingling feeling was. So I'm sitting here thinking about the tingling feeling and how it felt. And instantly when I thought about it, it came right back in my neck again. It came right back. And I held it there. I kept thinking about it, and I kept feeling inside of it. I really just was feeling what it felt like, getting really into that. And it was starting to expand and expand and expand. And I said, I wonder if I could move it. So I started trying to feel it in a different space, and I was just literally moving it. It was very easy to do. Now it was in my chest, it was in my belly, it went from my neck down to my belly, and it was expanding. And I was like, wow, what is this? And right when I'm doing that, somebody's coming up behind me with a pencil. And they had the eraser end of the pencil coming straight from my ear. How did I know this? I just did. I couldn't see them. I saw everything around me, but not like in vivid color. I just knew what was going on. Kind of like Neo in the Matrix when he sees everything in like code. And I was like that. It really was. It was just kind of weird. Anyway, I knew a pencil eraser was coming out my ear, and I'm like, damn, my friend's going to try to wake me up. He thinks I'm sleeping. He has no idea what I'm doing right now. And as soon as he touched me, I instantly woke up, and I was like, whoa, I was so excited. Like I didn't even really pay him much attention because I just had something to really chew on all day and go look up on the internet later. I was like, wow. And he was like, he immediately put the Jesus cross on his fingers and said, oh my God, what the hell? Why are you so excited? And I just told him what happened. I was like, dude, I knew you were coming up to me with that pencil and you were going to poke me, but I was going through this amazing experience, and oh my God, let me tell you about this. And the dude was like, you are crazy, bro. You know? So that I began to look up on the internet what the hell I was doing with that vibrational stuff. And they said, oh, that's just your body's energy. It's just your chi, your psi, your kai. There's all these names for it. Your energy, your prana. So you can move it around in your body. You just can focus on it, and you can move it out of your body. And when you move it out of your body, you can think about it doing or feeling a certain way, doing a certain thing or feeling a certain way. So I could push energy out of my hands to make someone else's hand hot if I just focus on the front of my palms, the surface of my palms, and then focus on the air just past them, and then the air right here in front of my whole hand. If I'm focusing my energy, my awareness outside of that hand space, and then I imagine it being fire. I imagine all that area being hot. I think about the hottest bonfire I've ever been in, the time I felt something that was super hot. I incorporate all those feelings into that space just past the palm of my hand, and I can tell somebody, come over here and put your hand next to mine, and they're going to, depending on what they feel, either it's going to be nothing, either they're going to say, oh, it's really warm, or they're going to say, oh, that's pretty hot, or they're going to whip their hand out immediately and say, holy shit, what the... You get those people, it's really fun. Really fun. But that, I'm not joking. That's the different ranging responses I've gotten from people. So I'm going to do an exercise with you guys. I'm going to kill this beer. I'm going to go grab another one. So get ready. Get ready to do a little hands-on, if you will, or hands-off, depending on how you look at this exercise. You'll get it. You'll get that joke in a minute. All right, be right back. Let me put on the groovy music again. You guys seem to like that that music I was playing a little while ago, so we could do that totally. Oh, it's gonna make us wait for like 12 seconds. It's one of those long commercials. I know, guys. It wasn't that funny. It wasn't that funny. Shh. All right, here we go.
Standing in a glass bowl at the end of a black hole, cold, lost and upside down. Faces swirling past me, all my memories rolling vastly, cold, lost beneath the ground. Altered by my own hand, I allow my feelings to become sad. If you're gonna cut me down, better do it quickly now. You can cut me down, but I won't stay for long. I'll grow back again. Oh yeah, my roots are strong.
All right, here we go. Now, where was I? Somebody in the chat has to remind me, because I do have like absolutely terrible memory. Let me see while I'm opening this drink if I can remember what I was going to say. So, oh yeah. All right, the hands-on, hands-off exercise. Okay, this is what I want you guys to do right now. Get your hand. Let's use this hand. Okay. Take, I don't know, the big knuckle right here at the bottom of your index finger, you know, that big meaty spot here. Scratch it a little bit with your finger. Scratch it. Just keep scratching it for about 5 or 6 seconds here. Just a little scratch there, just a tiny spot, and then stop. Now, feel for that spot with your mind. Can you feel that spot where you just scratched? Do you feel the sensation? It should be a little tingly or something. Maybe for a second, and then it might fade away. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you could do that right now. And you might have to do it a second time or scratch harder. Whatever you got to do. Scratch it and then stop and focus on that spot. Tell me in the chat if you feel any tingling. You can do that. And once you do that, take and scratch it again and then draw a line with your finger down to the bottom of your palm and scratch it there as well. Same way. And then stop. Now, can you focus with your mind? Focus on the top part where you scratched. Just think about it. And then follow that line with your mind, your point of awareness. Follow it all the way down to the second spot where you scratched. Already floaty hand. So now, if you've done that, can you feel everything? The first spot, the line, and the second spot? Is it sort of like an object planted on your hand? This is where I'm going with this. This is an exercise to help you become hyper aware of parts of your body, and just by doing that, you can do exercises then where, expanding down your arm, you can follow that line that you drew. You're gonna do it all around your hand. You don't have to scratch any other parts of your hand. You can feel for, let's say, just the bottom dot, and then try to move that bottom dot. Try to feel as though you were taking a finger without actually doing it. Imagine just scratching that again and drawing a line, and you will feel it. You'll feel a tingling go down your hand and go wherever you guide it. Or you might need your other finger. I like to do this too. I like to hold out my hand and my other hand right next to it, and I bend one of my fingers towards the palm, and I'm aiming it at the palm of the other hand, and I'm focusing on the very tip of this finger, and I'm focusing then past the tip, and I'm extending like a beam, a line of energy, and as I just get close enough to this other hand, it will touch. Like right now, I feel this finger's energy on my other hand from just this far away. You can work on expanding that. I still feel it. In fact, it's even stronger when I get farther away. That's weird. But I can move this finger down, and now what I feel is I went from here to about here just from moving this far away. I mean, you can literally feel this without really trying too much to feel it. It just becomes a natural thing. And there's an article that you can read. So if you want to write this down, time to grab your pen. time to hold the Windows button on your keyboard and tap R and type in Notepad and hit enter, and then you're going to get a notepad. Windows R, Notepad. That's a good run command to remember. But type in, hey, thanks, Jack. Groovy. Groovy, says Just Jack, Flat Earth. Type in, save this note, Robert Bruce, NEW, Energy Waves. Now, if you Google that, you're going to come up with Robert Bruce's NEW Energy Waves version 2 PDF. Watch it. Read it. It's about, 40, 50 pages, something like that. I don't know. I only read about 20 or 30 pages. I went to my school library, I printed it out, had a big old pamphlet, and I just was reading that through all the classes that sucked. And one of the cool things it tells you to do, and I've tapped on it with this exercise, but he also goes into awareness hands and awareness brushing. So if you can imagine that, you've done a scratching on this whole hand, it's all tingling. And now I talked about pushing that tingling out. If you push that tingling out, or simply, it's just easier than that. It's easier than this. It's just imagine that you have this hand, and in your head, you're imagining your other hand coming over and doing sort of a brushing sensation. And just from the exercise I was telling you about with the drawing and the tracing and the finger and all that, and you can then kind of start doing this energy, like imagination. It's really a lot of imagination, right? Don't stray away from thinking that you're pretending a lot here, because it's pretty much part of it. And the freaky thing is that like all this stuff really has an effect on people. That's all I'm saying. So if you can imagine another energy hand of yours brushing energy down or through your hand and up your arm, or better yet, from your toes, your very tips of your toes. You've imagined both of your hands drawing energy from your toes and up your leg and up your knee. What you're going to be doing is like helping yourself become aware of all those little toe joints that you might not normally be aware of, your ankle, your calves, like super aware of all these places. That's the whole goal. And at first you might have to scratch every part of these and do that line tracing thing. But as you're doing this, what it's going to do is what it did for me the other day was kind of cool. I was getting goosebumps everywhere. And I love me some goosebumps. But I was able to do this energy brushing exercise and get all these goosebumps and play in the goosebumps. I was like, this is kind of cool. But what it does is it allows you to have more of a more, powerful effect when you heal people or when you sense for other people's energy. You're getting so good at sensing your own body and the subtle energies and the subtle energy systems, and that's just kind of all part of it. It's flexing that psychic muscle here. That's what we're doing when you work on energy stuff. So with that being said, I'm gonna read the chat, see if there's any questions in the chat real quick about that. I'm gonna check Facebook first. Cindy Schumann, everyone's words have power. It creates your future. Buddha said when Wayne Wilson says, Buddha said when one prays, they are praying to the higher self. Yeah, I like the idea of a higher self thing. Keith Price, not sure if this is real. Hey, give it a shot. Cindy Schumann, I love the flat plane backdrop. You like that? Cindy Schumann. That was Adam Geringer talking earlier. Quan Noni, how you doing, Quan? Hey, from New Orleans, David Allen. What's up, buddy? All right. Say hi to everybody in the YouTube. Go back up here and see what you guys are talking about. Just Jack, the most set-apart spirit, wants to connect with us on Yah's frequency. Stay away from the globe-shaped vacuum, says Just Jack Flatter. I like that one. Yes, that's how I'm going to say this. So my first out-of-body experience, I had this frickin' globe-shaped vacuum sucking me into it. And then later on, I like that. All right, cool. All right, nobody's giving me the orange tag, so I'll just move on. I assume nobody has any questions. If you want to call in and ask questions, you want to keep it more related to Reiki and astral projection, that would be fantastic. The lines are open for just a minute while I sip on this beer. Alcohol very much so hinders your ability to feel your body. And for a while I thought it hindered energy work at all, and I'm sure it does. It's got to, I would think. But it still works, at least to an 80% degree. I was fairly drunk one night, talking on you now, and I was talking about this stuff, and somebody called me out on it. And it was like, I'm sitting here with a headache, a neck pain, a shoulder pain, and ankle pain. What can you do? Like I told everybody else, I'll try. And no, that experience, I'm sorry. now that I think about it, I don't know how sober I was during that experience, but let's say that was a sober experience. I took all those pains out of that guy, but the other one where I knew I was real drunk, I took 80% of this person's like serious migraine away. Like she was totally feeling a hell of a lot better. And I mean, I felt it. Like when I asked her permission, the thing is, you have to ask permission to do energy work to somebody, to manipulate their energy in any capacity. It's a permission-based thing, really it is. And I don't want to believe that, and I'd like to think that's just BS, but when you ask for permission to heal something that's far away from you, and all of a sudden you feel that aura in front of you, and you just, I don't know, what do you do with that, right? So I felt like all of a sudden this immense like heat that was in front of me. And I can tell that there was like some body in there, and then at the top it was a lot hotter. So all you do is you draw away that excess heat. You just push it out, you drain it out. You push a lot of white light in, and that will unclog a lot of blockages, which is causing this buildup of pain, whether it's some emotional subconscious pain or I don't know. I just don't know. I'm just intuitive. This is what I know to do. So I fill people up with the white light from top to bottom through their head, the crown chakra, all the way down to their feet. And I just do that for a while. And then I do a second pass over. I just feel for now, what does it feel like? And a lot of times that heat will dissipate. But if not, I'll then start vacuuming it out. I'll kind of do the opposite of what I said earlier when I heal a headache. So earlier when I was talking about my palm and me sensing for the energy outside of it, well, yeah, I do that to sense where it's hurting in them, which feels like excess heat. And then I reverse that and I take and feel for that heat coming into my hand or towards my hand. And I let it go in my hand, but I don't let it go past my wrist. So now at this point, it's in my hand. It's all in my fingers and bones and energy hand space. And then I throw it away. I have to whisk it away and mentally, like a Dragon Ball Z Kai ball, like shoot it out. And just to get it away. And I just keep doing that. And then I ask them how you feel. And that's it. That's how to pull out a headache. So if you can kind of put together the puzzle pieces I told you in the past 45 minutes, try it on somebody, do the little exercises in the Robert Bruce book that you'll learn about in about 25 pages. You'll learn how to move energy in your hands, up your toes. And I like his energy bouncing technique. I think he talks about it where, I'll just mention it for those of you who might actually look into this. Your hands are apart. You bend your fingers together a little bit. And you can focus on this thumb tip and this thumb's tip. And basically you focus on this thumb tip first, and then the other thumb tip. And then you focus on this fingertip first, and then the other fingertips. You just kind of bouncing your awareness to each finger. And as you do that, you can then shoot those little pencil beams back and forth from your thumb's fingertip to this one, back and forth. And you'll like kind of feel like this energy that's going on in there, and you'll feel a whole bunch of tingling, a whole lot of tingling. Or another cool thing, you could just focus on the palms, the outside of your hands here, your palms, and focus your awareness more and more in towards the other hand, but don't move your hands. Don't move. It's like if you were keeping your hands here, but you were trying to make them feel like they were pushing into each other. If you do that without moving your hands, focus your awareness towards your hands, you're going to feel a pressure build up. It's really, really cool. And then you do the vacuuming thing I talked about a little while ago. You start sucking it back until your energy's all by each hand again. And then you do it again. You push it forward and suck it back again, push forward, back. And then you do it as fast as you can. And this is I don't know what I tapped into when I did this exercise. It was something I came up on my own. But it puts me in a state of trance that I cannot match any other way besides doing an isolation with poi. But you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But it's this meditative state. It's this magnetic feeling, and it's awesome. I don't know what it is, but all these little things, there's just fun little exercises to do to help you move your energy around and play with it. But when you do this stuff to other people and they feel it, jeez, that's where you really go, oh my gosh, there's something to it. You can play with yourself all day long and fool yourself into believing all kind of stuff, including all kinds of astral projections that you may have had, thinking that you went and explored this magical realm that you probably just made up in your head, but you think it's real. A lot of people fall into that trap, but so that's that. That's energy healing. That's Reiki. That's how to do it. That's how to move energy. Basic level, how to move energy in your body. See if there's anything else I had there. yeah, just want to do a Q&A, and I might pass along another story or so to just to entertain you guys with and inspire you to attempt to do these things. I got a story of how I healed my aunt's knee pain. She had suffered 2 years with this pain. She was getting massage therapy on it and everything. I pulled that out. Or I could tell you the story of how I almost had the cops called on me for checking on somebody out of body and asking them what they were doing. What do you guys want to hear about? Say it in the chat. I might have to make a rule that we don't have like any debates in my chat room, because I don't want drama in my chat. You know, I don't like drama in my chat. Andrew Adams says cops. Andrew Adams, that's a familiar name. Oh yeah. Oh, Andrew, were you the guy that was on the whatchamadanky? I don't know if you want me to disclose that. We reincarnate. That's like saying, where does woods come from? Yeah, I do believe we reincarnate. I really do. I mean, out of body experiences totally got me on board with reincarnation. Let me tell you. But then you find out. Look, I went to a website. It said top 5 conspiracy theories in the world. Number 1, the soul catcher's net. What? What? The hell is that? Number 2, flat earth theory. Number 2. Guys, what about the soul catcher's net? What if we get recycled when we die? We go through the white light and it erases our memory and shoves us back into this hell pit that we know is Earth and physical life. What if we're not supposed to go to the light? I don't know. This is where that line of research will lead you down in questioning. Not number one conspiracy in the world. All right, so there's no questions. Tesla guy, yeah. All right, so yeah, just Jack, you got that right. He was. All right, Keith Price, I'm off this. This is rubbish, Keith. What's rubbish about it, Keith? This is a Facebook guy here talking. What about it? What about it is rubbish? Hey, Feather McGuire has just joined. How you doing, hon? It's just, you know what? I don't like to talk about a lot of the stuff I've talked about on my show because people will think I'm batshit crazy. But if you've done it and you've done it enough and you've proved it to yourself enough times and you're a hardcore skeptic like me, I mean, you gotta try it. And then even though it worked and it was so crazy, I'm still skeptical. I'm like, no, I gotta do that again. I gotta make sure it works a second time. It worked a second time, so I gotta make sure it works a third time. I'm still skeptical. That was me with energy healing and out-of-body experiences. So I'm to the point where I know it's not like a gift that I have that no one else has. No, it's not like that. We all have this gift, but we just don't know it. That's it. All right. So I got one vote, and we're going to talk about how I went out of body and almost had the cops called on me. Okay. So yeah, this is fun stuff. This particular night, I was not trying to leave my body whatsoever. I just realized that I was dreaming. I was floating around in my tree, outside my tree in my front yard, floating all over. I was like, hey, well, yeah. And then I was like, hold on, I got an interruption. Yes? Who's at the door? Okay, close the door. I'll come see you in a minute, okay? All right. All right, so I got to go in just a minute, so I'll wrap it up soon. But anyway, all of a sudden, I'm realizing that I'm flying around this tree in my yard, and I'm like, wait a second, this is not real. I'm definitely dreaming. And then, bam, it hit me. Oh, wow, well, if I'm dreaming, I'm out of body. Cool, I didn't even have to do the work, right? So now, hey, Karen Pettit, love you. My flat earth mom. So I'm realizing I'm out of body. This is good. So what do I do with that? You know, I'm super skeptic. Even while I'm out of body, I'm skeptical of the experience. And I'm like, okay, how can I prove it this time? Again, this would be, I think that was like the 4th time. So I just wanted another experience under my belt where I proved this was real. So I said, I'm going to go, oh yeah, I work with Jennifer tomorrow at work. I'm her boss. She's going to come in at 1 o'clock or at 10 o'clock right after I open. I'll go see what she's doing right now, and I'll tell her what she was doing at work. Yeah, that's a good idea. I settled on that. So as soon as I said, yeah, let's go, bam, poof, I was in her room. It was pitch black, and I see somebody curled up in a fetal position with a pink shiny blanket, looked like a shiny pink blanket, and she had gray spandex pants on. I could see this because her toes were sticking out, and they were skin tight, and they were just spandexy. And she was curled up, in a ball in a fetal position, like that, kind of like how I sleep sometimes. And I was like, instantly, I was like, oh, oops, right? Oops. I didn't realize that she's sleeping right now. But then I put it together, and I'm like, well, duh, I'm sleeping right now. I'm in my bed sleeping. I know it's got to be 2 or 3 in the morning. And if I'm going to go from a dream state, which was a sunny day, to real time zone, physical time zone, to prove an experience, I'm going to end up in her bedroom while she's sleeping in that moment, right there, right now. Oh, bam, sorry, oops. So I said, okay, well, let me get out of here, right? Let me go wake up. So I woke up willingly, I woke myself up, and I thought about that. I burned it into my memory so I wouldn't forget. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to ask her the next day if that was true. So I went to work. She comes in, 10 o'clock, and I couldn't wait to ask her. I was like, hey, what's up? Good morning. Hey, let me ask you a question. And then I was like, oh, God, this is going to sound a little creepy. And I was like, So I tried to paint the best picture I could and tell her, what I was into, astral projection. And I was like, so this is what I did last night. Were you sleeping in a gray spandex pants with a pink shiny blanket and a ball in fetal position? And she was like, the girl turned like white as a ghost. She was like, what the hell? And she said, it was weird for like an hour or so. And then she's like, can I take a early lunch break? And I'm like, yeah. She ends up calling the girlfriend I had at the time that was living with me, telling her, so I get the call back from my girlfriend. She goes, so Jennifer just called me and she said she's going to call the cops on you if she ever catches you peeking into her windows at night. Again. And we just laughed about it because my girlfriend knew what I did. I told her about it. And when she found out I was right, it was just that much better. And so she knows that I'm not freaking, we lived next door. Me and Jennifer, the girl that worked with me, she was actually, her aunt owned the trailer that I was renting to own. So we lived next door to each other. It was a perfect working friend, living situation. It was a cool thing. But when I did that, I freaked this girl out. She really, really thought that I took the liberty to go out and peek in her bedroom windows. So just one of those funny experiences I got under my belt. Just a, perfect testimonial of how accurate you can really be. And then, I talked about it. I calmed her down later on. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. I did not do that. I really didn't look in your windows. This is what I do. And she was calmed down, but she totally confirmed I was 100% accurate, as did, 3 other people I've done this to. So it takes you, if you're going to prove an experience out of body, you got to go to you got to have a third person involved, a second person involved in it, your experiences, and then that person, what they were doing or whatever, or if they're flying along with you on your journey out into the astral and you guys go see something and together confirm it upon waking up and then, go there physically and then confirm it, then well, it was real. But a lot of people go out of body and they have all these experiences and they take it for real. People that go up and they look at Earth and they go to planets and they see it's all a ball. You can't judge that as real. And I'll say this with confidence because when I tried to do card experiments, I'd shuffle a deck of cards, flip one card over and without looking at it, and I'd put it on my nightstand or whatever, or maybe I'd have a couple of cards, and I'd try to go out of body. And I'd be successful, and I'd go look at the card, and it would be a different card. When I wake up, it would match. Just wouldn't match. It wouldn't be the same card I saw. So what do you do with that? Well, that's very, very disheartening, and it will make you think that all of the experiences are crap and just dreams. So I don't suggest you trying to do any proving with just by yourself. You're gonna set yourself up for heartache. But if you involve a second person, that's where the magic happens. So anybody who sat through this hour and 30-minute broadcast just to hear that, that's powerful. It's truth. All right. I'm going to have to take my last call or read the chat for the last time. I have to go make some dinner for the little ones, lunchtime. Oh, goodness. The chat is all about Jesus and eating. No pig, most disease-ridden meat. Oh, my goodness. I'm sure all the chat has been scrolling by past my head, so nobody's missing it. Cool. Well, all right. Finish this beer, but yeah, the show is officially ended. For anybody who, you know, I tell people when it's over, and I'm just hanging around. That's this point. Hour and 30 minutes is good enough for me. So feel free to call in. I got half a beer if anybody wants to talk. Just say hi. You know, it's open discussion, open topics, etc., etc. So you know, I'll just talk about what I'm doing, what I'm about to do. Maybe moving into a different place soon. Hey, Jack. Not really sure. I just got the email today that the phone that I ordered from China has been finally dispatched. It's being shipped. And that was the phone that I was going to use to pack up my poi. Oh, hold on here. I was going to pack up my poi and some batteries and hit the road with that phone and stay connected to you guys. So, hey, you're on the show, Hori Sheet Show, and the Reiki and OBE tips episode. How's it hanging? Wait, don't answer that. Not really interested in how's it hanging. Who's this?
It's Just Jack.
Just Jack. How's it going, buddy?
Very good. So I'm really enjoying the show because there's a lot of, you know, missed opportunities without talking about this information, because I do believe we're spiritual beings and we're missing out on a lot, especially with the way we've been taught and raised. And, you know, people are trying to keep us down, because if we knew what we were, we could take back over what is rightfully ours. And, you know, when I look at, you know, what Adam was talking about, where he was looking to contact Satan or whatever, the thing is that I believe that the evil men that run this world, they also know how to astral project, and they want somebody to be open to take anything in, whether it's evil or good, and they'll take that opportunity. It had happened to me before. I had opened myself up to anything, and it was quite a few years ago. I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser now, but I gained power where I was able to control people with my mind even. And the voices that were coming from nowhere, or coming from the air, if you will, were teaching me how to become the ruler of the world, because the voices were trying to tell me that the world exists simply from my mind alone. And so I started practicing controlling other people successfully. And it got to be to the point where I could not eat, because I believed if I ate, I would lose power. I could not sleep because I believed if I slept, I would cause the rest of the world insomnia, which would cause me to lose my world. And I was constantly in fear of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, which would lead to the ultimate destruction of my reality, which would cause me to go into the vacuum of space, which I now know does not exist.
Ooh, right.
But when I'm shaking right now just talking about it, but
it's powerful stuff, man. Spill it out.
When I was walking through it, I walked through it for like 3 months. People say you can't live if you don't sleep for a week. I'm telling you, I didn't sleep for 3 months.
I believe that.
And when a friend asked me to go to a church, and I was in my state of mind so arrogant that I said, sure, I remember the creator of my previous world. I'll go say hi. That's how arrogant I was in my state of being. And I went there and I audibly heard, this is the only time I've ever audibly heard from the creator. And he says, choose you this day whom you will serve. You're either going to be serving the voices and yourself, or you're going to be serving the creator of all things, the light, the true light. And when I told him, I said, if this is you, because I heard a lot of voices back then, I said, if this is you, you need to take this world away and show me the right way. Because you were talking about that thing where you're put back into the loop, like it's a repetitious thing, like the past and the future and the present, it's all intertwined, and you have to keep repeating the process till you get it right. And I was in constant fear. And when I said, I will follow you if you take this world away from me, that's when I was completely delivered. I had no addictions any longer. My whole life changed in an instant. And I believe in the verse that says, he who is forgiven much loves much, because I was on my face every day seeking the throne room of heaven. And the fact of the matter is that's where I first experienced OBE, is because I was on my face seeking the throne room of heaven. And when that happened to me, I realized that this was reality, and what I typically was living in was the false reality. This physical world is the false reality. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional.
No,
but,
it's interesting to hear you say that, because it's very
but
real, but
it's
not the only thing that exists. That's what I would agree with.
Right. I'm saying this is the finite, and that's the infinite.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had been praying for my brother to receive what I felt, because I could feel the presence of the Creator. And the more I prayed for my brother, because he wasn't receiving it, the more I got. And it was like you said, it was like this vibrating frequency thing. And I had done open-minded experiments before, and it was like all of those, but with none of the bad side effects. No fear, there was no negativity. It was euphoria times 10, you know. And when that happened to me, it's like it's very similar to your incidents, which is why I felt the need to share this. But I was frozen, and my brother even was trying to get me to acknowledge him, and I couldn't move because I was consumed with the spiritual realm. And when I came to, I was in a church building, okay, and it had nothing to do with the church. I promise you that, because nobody else was experiencing this, just me. And when I came back to the physical realm, I'll say, everybody had left the building. They actually locked the doors and left me there because they didn't want to mess with me. And this thing I knew I had to use, and within moments afterwards, I met my wife, who helps me grow, and we grow together. And the second time that I had the experience was I went to this conference, and again, some people are going to be offended. I don't care. It was a scriptural conference, you know, people who believe the scripture and live according to it, not according to religion. And I went downstairs, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning. Everybody who was just there just to go through the motions, just to meet with other people, they were all sleeping. The real seekers were downstairs in the middle of the night, discussing, seeking. And I went downstairs, and there was 5 guys down there, and I joined them. And they're like, I asked them what they were talking about, and they're like, well, we kind of just wrapped up a discussion. And they asked what I wanted to talk about, and I said, I want to go back to Genesis, and I want to explain to you guys that we were created without skin, and that when we fell, he wrapped us in skin. It has nothing to do with killing animals and making a sacrifice, because that's not in scriptures. People just put that in there on their own accord. And when I was saying this to them, half the people understood and said, yes, we were metaphysical beings that did not have physical bodies. And the other half were like, no, he created man and woman, so, you know, boobs and penis, whatever. And I was compelling them to read it for what it says and not from what they believe from bad teachers teaching. And while we were sitting there discussing it, this little old lady came downstairs. She had to be 80 plus years old. And she goes, oh, I knew you boys would be down here. I was just woken up and told to come down here. And I was like, that's cool. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, I said, you know, when Adam and Eve, or Adam and Mrs. Adam, or, you know, whatever you want to call them, before they ate of the fruit, and she says, oh, before they had skin? And the other 3 guys
totally
just
God-led. Yeah, totally God-led.
Yeah. So all of them flipped. And instantaneously, and I'm not joking, I'm not making this story up, we all got into the spiritual realm, and we were communicating with each other without speaking. Okay? Wow. And these words came out of my mouth, and they were not from my mind. I said, my hands are not my own, and we don't have to wait to the end to be transfigured. And when I said that, my hands were literally glowing. And everybody saw it. Everybody saw me glowing. I was glowing yellow. And when that word came out of my mouth, I was brought back to so many scriptures where men were transfigured to do the supernatural, and it's overlooked because it's churchianity. And they just think, oh, just got to do, good things and go to church and get to heaven, blah, blah, blah. But they're missing the point. We were created as these beings that are more than what we are now. We were created to be creators. We were created to say to the tree, if you don't give me fruit, you can die. You can say to the mountain, be moved into the ocean, and it will be moved. This is the power that they're blocking from us. And the men who know that scripture is true are manipulating it for their own purposes, for their own agenda. And that's why I believe that, Adam was talking earlier about there's no Satan. I believe that. I believe demonic presence is just when people open themselves to stuff, they're doing astral projection. And if they can get in, they're going to get in because they were trying to tell me how to be the end all, the one who was going to stand against the creator. And when I came to the end of myself and I said, I'd rather be in servitude to the creator rather than be the master of hell, it wasn't that hard of a decision. And I saw that if I kept on the path, when he said, choose you this day whom you will serve, I knew if I just kept on the path I was going in, I would have been stuck in a serious spiritual loop. It would have been like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a broken record spiritually. Like you're just on repeat, and you can't get out of it.
Yeah, unless you're doing God's bidding, you won't be allowed to transcend, right? I mean, if you're just stuck in the world and you're not listening to God or the source and what you're not on your path, you're just existing and just going to keep repeating these crazy patterns. You're not working on your soul. You're not going to get out of this dome. Maybe.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think that's why there's like a serious awakening. And I think these happen like pretty regularly. I think there's like this, again, there's this loop, right? There's this reoccurring thing where a large group of people wake up. And I think it's happening again, especially with the flat earth movement and people realizing that there's a creator and not religion, not men telling you how to live, but you searching out the spirit yourself and not dealing with men manipulating the word for their own purposes, for their own agenda, for their own control. I know everything you're saying is true about astral projection. I know everything you're saying is true by a touching healing. And I know that it's built into all of us, and we're missing it because we're being distracted. And I'm just as much to blame as you because I work, I take care of my family, I watch television, I'm on YouTube. These are all distractions. Back in the day when we were in the field, we could experience the spirit so much easier.
Good points. And that's why I try to encourage everybody to, try to figure out a way to live without working too much, too long, because we're not here to work our ass off. We're here to experience life. And when you get a family, you're then in the system so much where you got to work more and you're not able to connect with God or get connected with yourself much. And if you have enough time after you work that hard for your family, if you have enough time for your family in the end of it, God, you're blessed. And that's
that's true.
Story of my life. It's been really difficult.
And I don't know if you've ever looked into or heard about grounding, but I think grounding is very, very effective of connecting with the spirit.
I have that.
The barefoot.
I have been taking my socks off, and this is just within this year, just within this past 5 months. I'm gonna say I've taken my socks off and been barefoot more in the past 5 months than my entire 32 years of my life, because I'm always a sock guy. I'm always got to have my shoes on or my socks on, but now I'm taking my socks off. I'm walking out in the cement, put my feet into the grass and staring up into the sky, and I'm praying almost every few days for guidance to fix my situation. You know what my situation is, but boy, is it a wonderful, amazing roller coaster.
Yes.
What you said, man.
I had to share my story though, because I've been hinting at it for the past couple of weeks, and I had to get it out there because it's bubbling,
Dude,
I'm sure the same for you.
Yes. My story is bubbling, believe me, and I'm not sure if I'm going to tell it publicly, but if I do, or maybe when I do, it's hopefully people will learn, to adjust their actions or something. I don't know what they're going to learn from it, but I like to tell my story because I like the fact that people can live vicariously through one another if you tell your pain and you're really sharing, you're pouring your heart out, and people can listen to you and say, wow, that's a similarity in my life, and wow, that's how it ended up if I were to do this or that. And maybe if people hear some of the things I'll talk about, just like they've heard what you've just talked about, it'll help them think about things in a certain light. And you know what I want to say, like the golden aura thing you experienced, I was in rehab one time because I was experimenting with over-the-counter drugs, and it wasn't to like get messed up, man.
Man-made stuff, man. Man-made stuff.
Well, yeah, I was doing cough and cold pills for the dextromethorphan that was in it, the DXM. So I was robo-tripping, if you guys know what robo-tripping is. But the thing was, I was hitting some interesting places in this experience. I was actually able to, between two of my other friends, while they were in the beanbag chairs in my dorm room, and funny enough, a very Christian, non-druggy, totally sober friend was watching this, and he was, very much a Christian believer. And he thought we were he liked this because nobody else, he didn't have any other friends, but we were cool with everybody. And so he hung around with us, but he watched this, okay? So we're all messed up on like DXM, robotripping. And I actually pulled like Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat, okay? Did some energy stuff once I told my friends, lay down in the beanbag chair, imagine that you're on a raft. Imagine the raft is floating down a comfortable river. Imagine you can smell all the smells of that river. Imagine you got some butterflies that float by. Now you can smell the flowers. You can smell the trees. You can see the trees. I'm painting them a picture for about 10 minutes. And then I'm like, now just relax and just relax and just relax. And so I'm pulling all their energy from their feet and their head all to the center of their body, to the center of their chest. For some reason, this is what I was kind of led to do. And then I was literally like, I would feel for their energy in their legs, and it was cold. There was no heat. And I feel for the energy of their head, and it was no heat. So eventually, all the heat was just in the middle where I drew it all to. That was like sucking their soul to the middle. And then I lifted it up and pushed it to one corner of the ceiling. That was one guy. Did the same thing to the other, pushed him to the other corner. And I sat there, and I talked to my friend. And I was like, now, what do you think's happening? And he was like, you guys are crazy. And then so I waited a few minutes. And so I was like, okay, let's wake this guy up. So I poked him. He woke up right away and freaked out immediately. He was like, dude, oh, and he pointed right to where he was. He pointed up to the ceiling immediately. He's like, I was up there. I was looking at you guys. And the last thing I know was like something happened in my chest. I was like, something happened in my chest. And I felt like it was a tingling. And then bam, I was up there. I was like, awesome, that's a number one. So I asked the other guy, but the other guy took a whole lot more shit. They couldn't wake him up. We had to slap him several times. But as soon as we finally got his ass up, he said the same exact thing. Oh, I got my chest. Oh, and then up here, he pointed to his spot. So this stuff, dude, I don't know what we are capable of. Some amazing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We're missing it too. People gotta wake up.
And you know what?
And I believe what happens is, the more people that we get woke, right? The more people that we can get to take the blue pill, the stronger we're going to become, because we're going to feed off of each other's.
The red pill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, red pill. Sorry. Don't go to sleep. Wake up. Because the whole thing is that, collectively, being awake is what is going to make us stronger. We're going to build off of each other and get closer to the source or the creator, or however you want to refer to him, and be able to stand against those who have been practicing getting together for thousands of years. And you know what I'm talking about, the evil men who started religions and, governments and other controls. These men have been practicing their spiritual connectiveness for a long time. And that's who they, when you look into their books, they believe that they collectively are Lucifer. They don't believe in an invisible bad guy. They believe that they're going to be collectively strong enough to stand against the creator himself and create their own reality.
That's an interesting way to put it. That's really, now I kind of see where this is all going. That's awesome. But I wanted to share.
I see it though, man. I see it.
I wanted to share the whole point of what I was telling you a minute ago. It got sidetracked into a different cool story about my guys in the beanbag chairs and stuff, and me being freaking Shang Tsung. But where it led to was I ended up finally going to rehab because my family really freaked out. I had an experience probably much like you went through, where people locked your ass in a church and left because they didn't know what to do with you.
Right. Yeah.
I had an experience where I call it my Jesus experience. And I haven't read very much of the Bible. I don't have a affiliation, a connection with Jesus per se, but in this experience, I was drawing his face perfectly with a notebook paper and a pencil. I hear an echo right now. I don't know if you can fix that.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, so that's cool.
I disconnected my Bluetooth. Sorry.
That's cool. So I had, I'm not an artist. I draw stick men really well, though. I'm not a cook, but I can make a bowl of cereal like nobody's business. But so anyway, I'm drawing freaking Jesus's face perfectly and wonderfully. And my family was like, dude, what's going on? What's going on with Devin? So the thing was, I knew everything. I could hear people's, I could watch a movie and I know what's going to happen. I could walk into a room and I was able to tell everybody their deepest, darkest secrets right there in the open, and people were like really freaking out, and they were pulling me aside, and I was like, what, was I wrong? And they were like, no, you're right, but you need to shut up. We don't know what the hell's going on with you. Like I knew everything, and I was trying to just like be the best person I could be in every capacity, and it freaked people out. My mom called the cops on me. I guess there was an 8-foot fence, and I'm about 5'3". I'm a really short guy, and I took this 8-foot fence, and I literally I hopped over it without my legs ever touching it. Just my hands went over the top, and I was like, I'm going to take a walk. And I just wanted to go walk. I met a guy on my journey, and I was led by many different things that were not audible, but my journey led me here. I went to this house. I was really thirsty. I was dehydrating myself, and I was about to go get somebody's water hose and just start drinking it right outside the side of their house. But instead of doing that, I decided to knock on a door. So I knocked on this guy's door. I rang a doorbell. I asked, I was going to ask for a cup of water, and nobody came out. So yeah, I went out and started walking back the other way, and this guy comes out his house, and he looks at me, and he goes, hey, can I help you? And I said, to be honest, I said, yeah, I really just need a glass of water. I've been walking, I overheated, and yeah, I'll be right back. He goes in, gets a glass of water, comes out, start drinking the water, and he says, can I pray for you? And I said, well, I feel like I'm embodying Christ consciousness right there in the moment. I'm like, boy, you sure can, but I don't know if it's going to help much. I mean, I'm pretty much there, the guy was like, well, listen, my son looks just like you. I was dressed just like I am now in all black. And he's like, my son dresses in all black. He looks a lot like you. And he is a Satan worshiper. And I can't reach him. And he says, this guy was a pastor or a preacher, a churchman, like a deacon or whatever. I don't remember. But a church guy, really. And then he's like, can I pray for you? I said, sure. So we prayed, and I parted ways, and I said, I'm just going to, what do you want in life? And he's like, I don't need anything in life. And I was like, okay. And I walked away. Like that was it. Like that was the experience that I had with this guy on that Christ consciousness experience. And I was able to, I knew everything. I knew anything I wanted to know. It was there. It was at my fingertips. This was so amazing of an experience. But then they had to whisk me away. Anyway, long story short, I end up in rehab. And I was in this room with these people just hanging out after I don't know, people went to sleep. And the topic came about of energy healing. And I'm showing this guy some energy stuff. And another guy walks in. And that was the last thing we all wanted, because we were like in a corner doing this. And I had this guy's hand in between mine. And I'm like, woo. This guy walks in, and we're like, and the guy goes, whoa, what is that? And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, what is this like white light coming out of your hands? And I was like, dude, you can see it? He's like, yeah, I could see it. So I start doing some stuff with him, and I start doing some energy on his hands, and he's just like freaking out. He's like, whoa, man. And it wasn't long after that, I had a big prayer circle, which we were all forced to do things we really didn't want to do. And one of these things was hold hands and pray, because I wasn't a Christian. I didn't want any part of it. But when I held everybody's hands and we did this prayer, and believe me, I didn't want to be there. I really didn't want to be there. But by the end of it, I tried to get into it. I really tried for the last little bit of it, and I really tried. And then when I walked away, and I was glowing. I was glowing. I had a fucking golden aura all around me, and I was rubbing my eyes. I was going in different rooms. I was like going outside. I was trying to see if it was a light, some funny light that was above me, and some weird lighting. No, I was glowing. My whole body was glowing. These experiences, like, they're very real, you know, and it makes me sound crazy to some of these people that are listening, but if you have them yourself, geez, what do you do with it? What do you do with it? So thanks for sharing your story, man.
No problem, brother.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later about everything. Bye.
Yeah, we'll talk again soon. You have a good one, Jack.
All right, bye-bye.
All right.
Hi, Karen.
So awesome call. And yeah, you know, this is it, guys. This is stuff that they don't want us to know. I think the elites of the world know about it. They're keeping it from us. It's not mainstream. I mean, why should it be mainstream? They're making too much money on big pharma to, you know, take this Tylenol, take this ibuprofen, take this Oxycontin, but don't try to eat healthy and you know, do some energy healing on your friend every now and then. No, don't do that. We don't want you to know about that. That's not going to be in our school books. It's not interesting. So, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. It's been 2 hours. This was a great stream. Thanks everybody for coming. And you guys are awesome. Who's in here? Karen's in here. Karen B finally made it. Karen, you're late. That's okay. That was a good stream, though. Catch the first hour to maybe hour and 30 minutes of the stream. You'll get all the goods within the first hour, and the rest is, you know, call-ins and story time. So, all right, guys. I'm here to wake people. Oh, Karen says, damn. No, I've been on for 2 hours. I got to go make the little one some lunch. I wish I could stay. I might be on later tonight. I just might. Because, yeah, I got to go clean up and do some stuff around here. But I'm here to wake people up. Who's with me? Andrew Adams says, I know I'm too scared to share publicly, as there are many of us. I think, great stream, Hori. Yeah, Andrew. Good meeting you the other day, man. Will do, Hori. Thanks much. Says all people, free people. Karen B. Give me the okay sign. All right, guys. Flat Earth Vegans made it. Hey, how are y'all doing? Much love. Much love. All right. Thanks again to Just Jack, Adam Geringer for calling in, and Robert earlier for calling in and saying thanks. Awesome stuff. Goodbye, everybody. Much love.